Hey guys, Huzzy bringing you another video. Now, welcome to a challenge spectate. We're taking a small break from the climb series, which, you know, the Champions Climb. We'll continue that in gold in the next few days. But today, we are watching the rank 1 player right now. And I had a look at his profile earlier, and he seems to be mainly... Well, he plays quite a lot of stuff. He plays mid, he plays Zed, Yone, he's a Yasuo player, but now he's Yasuo bot lane. And I just thought, let's give him a watch. So he's already played a lot of games, but yeah, top rank right now I think is already over 1000 LP in Challenger, which is kind of crazy to be already 1000 LP in Challenger basically a week into the season. But that's just how good some of these players are, and they do play a lot, to be fair. But let's give a watch of Yasuo bot lane. He's with a Alistair, and just reminding people, because some people may forget, no duo queue can happen at this rating. So Riot, starting in preseason, got rid of duo queue in Master and above. Meanwhile, the enemy bot lane find an Alistair who queues them, and now the fight might continue. It's a Seraphine bot lane, Misfortune AD carry. And yeah, Alistair survives, but the enemy team do actually get a lot of damage. So Yasuo AD carry, kind of, people may say, you know, what is the vibe with it? Do I like it? I do and I don't, if I'm completely honest. So the benefits of Yasuo AD carry is he's very good at killing squishy targets, and naturally in bot lane a lot of people are quite squishy. But what we're watching here, this is the disadvantage. He's a melee champion, and you're most of the time going to be taking Yasuo into a lane that there are two ranged opponents. Obviously sometimes that's not true if they've got a Leona or something, but then Leona's also very good at CCing melee targets. So Yasuo, you'd sometimes think, isn't the best place or best champion to go bot lane. You know, they're now really far behind. Yasuo's got no farm. Misfortune's got 6. They've had to burn a few summoners, and Seraphine's getting free poke. Huz, this is terrible. This is going really bad. Well, that's the point. Yasuo is... The thing with Yasuo as a champion, and what I think a lot of people don't get, and why he is notorious for being that 0-10 champion that a lot of people like to meme, is because a lot of people on Yasuo aren't, what's the way to say it, not very smart, because he is, nice poke by Seraphine, he is a amazing scaling champion. Always has been. He always has scaled amazing with crit, has insane crit damage, good item scaling. But so many people, for some reason, are like, I'm going to fight really early. Anyway, there's a big fight happening, so the patience has now paid off. And they're actually giving first blood to Yasuo. So right there is what we're seeing in this type of game. Challenger, they are patient. They are willing to wait. They were down really a lot in farm, but they just waited for an opportunity. And their opportunity is when Talia came. So that's what I think a lot of the time is missing with Yasuo's, even in Diamond, is that they are so impatient to try and get ahead when they should, in fact, just be kind of waiting. So that's one lesson to learn already. And again, we're watching Yasuo, by the way, because well, he's technically in my champion pool. Meanwhile, Seraphine getting caught by an Alistair. Ooh, bad flash by the Yasuo, and that will be a Seraphine living. Meanwhile, the Echo jungle is going to get the cow, and Yasuo will survive, but there is all that. Echo did also flash, by the way. But, yeah, Yasuo is technically in my champion pool. I've not played him yet, I don't think, in Season 11. I don't think I've even played Zed. So, yeah, my two AD mid laners, and obviously we're not watching a mid lane game, watching a Yasuo game here, but we're trying to see mechanics here and what I can pick up from. But my two AD mid laners, Zed and Yasuo, I haven't played because they are my niche pick. I'm not going to randomly pull out an AD mid laner. I'm not a big fan of AD mid laners randomly because, I like balanced team comps. I think we're hearing Seraphine when we're here for some reason. But I don't like unbalanced team comps. I like having AD damage, AP damage, and 95% of the time, you need an AP mid laner to have your balance of your damage. Like, even having an Echo mid lane, Echo jungle, sorry, because some people are like, oh, you got an Echo jungle, means you can go an AD mid laner. Not really. Echo's an assassin, so he doesn't do constant AP damage across the board. So I'd like something even better than an Echo for our AP option. It's kind of like where, I don't know, someone randomly pulls a Veigar bot lane or something, that would then allow you to play Zed or Yasuo mid. That's kind of where I stand on it anyway. But yeah. Anyway, the lane is on the enemy territory, so they probably should be a little bit careful right now. It is slowly going to push back into them, but there could be an Echo in the area. Yasuo Alistar, worth also noting, it's a good combo lane because Yasuo needs knockups and Alistar gives knockups. So that's also pretty nice, but you can see the farm difference here is quite a lot. Yasuo is under half farm, technically, of the Misfortune. He'll catch up a little bit when all this farm kind of pushes back, but still, not great at the beginning. And a lot of people in solo queue, etc., would be very demoralized already in this game, going, dude, we're under half farm. What's the point? We see people giving up all the time. I've always said, I've always laughed about when I see like a late game hyper carry. I've seen Nasus one tricks give up 5 minutes into the game. I'm like, that makes no sense. They're going to try go for the Seraphine. Alistar, by the way, did that really nice. If you notice, he didn't do his combo perfectly timed. That was intentional because he had the CC, he had the stun to hold the Seraphine still, that he didn't need to do the instant combo. He delayed his CC enough. So that was really good by the Alistar, and Seraphine does go down for the first time. So that's the danger of a lane like this, Alistar and Yasuo, is, yeah, they're you know, in a normal lane. If this was AD carry versus AD carry, and you're half farm at 5 minutes, lane's practically over. But Alistar and Yasuo, the whole point of it is, if we get on top of you, you're in trouble. So that's kind of the nice thing of it. Alistar's going to go for the Misfortune. Yasuo on the way, going to do a little bit of DPS to the Misfortune, but nothing major. Going to finish off with a Whirlwind Q. But reminding everyone, every single time he does that, meanwhile, Misfortune might actually be mispositioned. She pops her, Seraphine panic heals. Yasuo uses his exhaust. But overall, not bad for the Yasuo there. And slowly, you're starting to see the pressure is now building for the Yasuo. Because it's the level 1 is what obviously hurt them the most. The further away from level 1 we get, the more advantage we're probably going to start to see shift the other way. Also worth noting that the Yasuo Alistar lane is a relatively all-in lane. But because of how squishy these two are, meanwhile they go for the all-in. Yasuo with the healing does get the kill and looks like he will survive. And he does survive. Seraphine going to be tanking minions, can't continue the fight. So pre-6 are actually diving the Misfortune Seraphine lane, and Misfortune ends up dead. And you can see Yasuo still below in farm, but only 6 minions now. So he was 20 plus farm behind. So that's just kind of showing sometimes it's all about being patient, and that's okay. Tier 2 boots purchased by Yasuo. It's the common first purchase of the champion, no matter where you're playing him, really, mid or AD carry. Because, again, he's a melee champion, and movement speed is very handy. Attack speed is very good on him, obviously. So it just all-round helps him arguably do more damage. Meanwhile, Lucian in mid lane ends up dead. Misfortune has roamed to mid, but doesn't get anything for it. But yeah, by the way, it's a Lucian versus a Aurelia mid lane. So we've spoken about that many times, that if this Lucian doesn't get ahead of the Aurelia, arguably, he's just going to probably end up dead quite a bit. Misfortune, weirdly to me, you know, maybe she's staying mid because the lane is in a bad position. If Yasuo wanted to, which he's not, he could actually have frozen that a little bit to deny the Misfortune even more. But yeah, not doing that. He's pushing it, arguably pushing it to get the Misfortune to come back to lane. And wants to hit that level 6. Level 6, I think, in 1 minion. There we go. Level 6 has been hit. Alistar is actually randomly going 2v1 to the enemy. And now he's on the wrong side of the tower. But there is allies in the area. And he will survive. But a very ballsy Alistar there. They might get a tower plate, maybe 2, depending if the enemy team tries to defend this a lot. But expect an all-in, I would say. I wouldn't be surprised. There's the combo. There's the Yasuo ultimate. He's going to do a bit of a dive. Alistar goes down. Yeah, Misfortune goes down. Echo going to try and survive. Yasuo flashing, getting that double kill. And now Seraphine is in trouble because she's out of position. She did hit level 6, which is going to help. Yasuo just waiting a little bit. And he will pick up the kill. So, you know, the enemy team are that squishy that they can just straight up dive them, which is quite rare. Like, normally in bot lane, you wouldn't be seeing dives happen. Well, sometimes you will, but they've already dove them a couple of times, you know? That's very big confidence and reminding people of where this lane started. This was a really bad level 1. Yasuo was under half farm. Like, this was all around a really bad situation. Arguably, Lucian's overstaying here. Misses the knockup, does the Yasuo again. Alistar, once again, you can see he's not timing it, the WQ back-to-back. Because you can actually wait a little bit and you can kind of extend your CC. So that's good by the Yasuo. Tower plate goes down. Double buffs, obviously, for the Yasuo as well. And he will probably just try to do this wave, I'd imagine, and then go back. And what I'd also say, and I've said it, we've done a couple Yasuo spectates over the last year, let's say. A big thing that you'll notice, especially when you go up in like Challenger, pretty basic play. Like the Challenger players aren't sometimes the most mechanically skilled players in the game. That might sound weird to some people, but they're truly not, because a lot of the time, meanwhile, ult combo, Alistar engages, Seraphine goes down, exhausted the wrong target. Yeah, a lot of the time, what happens is it depends what you're focusing. A Challenger player has obviously conquered, let's say, solo queue. They know how to climb. Someone in Diamond, a lot of the time, is more on mechanics of how they feel about mechanics rather than climbing. So when it comes to like combos and the Yasuo flash combo and Shurima shuffles with Aziz, you won't actually probably see much of that in Challenger. You occasionally will, obviously, but that's more of actually like a Diamond Master thing than a Challenger thing. Challenger is more about winning the game, not showing off. And they just play very basic, but they play it near perfectly. And that's what you see with Yasuo. There's nothing that Yasuo has done that I would deem complicated or crazy. He's just playing a very basic Yasuo, but he's playing it really well. And that's fine, you know? And I think that's one thing a lot of people should learn from, is it's okay to play relatively basic. Like, Yasuo isn't a basic champion, but you can play him in a basic way. And that's what this is going on. You're more likely to climb if you kind of just focus on the basics, but do the basics really well. Meanwhile, a big fight actually happened in top lane. Obviously, the enemy bot lane having a bit of a, you know, troubling start. So they've gone top lane. Yasuo exhausting the Lucian. Both users exhaust. Yasuo going to continue on the Lucian with the wind wall. He is going to end up with it. Echo's going to come in to try and save. Lucian will survive in the end. And Yasuo now going to go for the Echo, who is ulting away. The Aurelia predicted it. And the Yasuo and the Aurelia are going to do their best to finish it off. And that will be, I think, an ace technically, but wasn't an official one because people respawned before. But yeah, really nice. Again, another big thing you always see in Challenger games is people are all over the map at all times. You know, we've seen when we watch top lane games, a top lane is teleporting bot lane at 3 minutes. Here, you know, why was the enemy bot lane top? Well, actually, I don't really know. I was about to say the tower died, so they lane swapped, but no, the tower actually didn't die. So the enemy bot lane just roamed into the top lane. And obviously, the lane isn't going very well for them. They're both 0-4, so arguably they're like, well, it's going bad for us here. We may as well try and do something elsewhere. Gragas may be in trouble. He did go for an engage. He doesn't have ultimate up. He's got the slow, so he might be okay. That was a really janky play by Gragas. Seraphine flashing, but doesn't do damage, so the Gragas will survive. But that was a bit weird by the Gragas to... He literally stood still to ult. That was odd. But they are going to break the tower. Ornn is in top lane. Haven't seen too many Ornns, by the way. Even though tanks are still relatively strong, I don't know why. Ornn just hasn't been like in solo queue, at least from what I've seen. Haven't seen many of them. But so far, the stars of the show, Aurelia's 5-0, Yasuo's 6-0, and it's the relatively same kind of aspect that I've always said to you guys. I've always been confused of why people take AD carries mid, because it's the lane that the champions that are picked in mid are designed to kill AD carries. So that you can use that reasoning for two things this game. That's why Aurelia is doing well. She's against a Lucian mid who didn't get fed early. But it's also why Yasuo could do well in bot lane. Yasuo as a champion, like a dualisty Aurelia, like that's kind of what he is, right? His class of champion is designed to kill AD carries. High damage, high mobility, he can block, you know, auto attacks. So that's why he can actually do well in bot lane. Is because naturally, Yasuo is designed to kill those type of champs. So, yeah. Anyway, Alistar looking for an engage. Yeah. Oh, that was good. So if you're wondering what the hell just happened then, Alistar engaged on the Lucian, but Yasuo was technically out of range, so he flashed to get in range to then press ultimate. So that's what just happened. Gragas goes down, but there is going to be a heavy split push up in top lane. But yeah, Lucian goes down. He might have had flash up, and obviously I don't follow pro play, to be honest, at the moment. Meanwhile, wind wall. Again, we can't see the wind wall because the replays are still bugged, unfortunately. But yeah, Yasuo just wind wall Misfortune ultimate. But yeah, I presume that's a Misfits player. Misfits Chovy, I presume that's how you pronounce that. Obviously, pro play is on its way back. I'm not sure if I'll tune in anymore. again, it's hard to kind of say why I stopped tuning in. It's not really. Like, I was a old school League viewer when it came to pro play, and all the pros that I used to watch, none of them play anymore. And I don't know why, but I've never had a connection with the modern day pros. You know, part of it was like, I literally watched League from season 1, so I kind of grew up watching the League scene grow with those pros, and now none of them are around anymore. It kind of feels like my connection to it's gone. Secondly, I don't think the casting is brilliant. You know, not trying to throw shade, but I really don't enjoy a lot of the casting that happens in League Pro play. I don't think it's very good. Meanwhile, Aurelio engaging. Yasuo going to back her up. Misfortune goes down. Yasuo legendary. Going to go for the Seraphine. Lands his combo. Gets the Seraphine as well. Misfortune and Seraphine. All looking for a return kill. Doesn't get it because Yasuo backs off. So again, pretty just again, clean. Like, that's how I define this Yasuo. It's not complicated. It's not over the top. This guy is just playing a basic, clean Yasuo. And really, there is no risk of this guy feeding. Because I think so many Yasuos end up feeding because they try to play it a complicated way. Or, dude, we're both really low health, but I'm going to go for that all-in because I can outplay you. This Yasuo isn't doing that, you'll notice. He isn't going for those really risky 50-50s because it's just not really needed. You don't need to do that, so he's not. And that is how you climb. And that is how this player is currently the rank 1 on EU West. I imagine, even though this player, if you look through their profile, plays Yasuo, Yone, Zed, the champions that can very easily feed by playing over-aggressive, I bet this player doesn't really feed because their playstyle is probably low risk. Even though they're playing higher risk champions, they play them in a low risk playstyle. That's the good thing. So Lucian does flash. Windwall blocks the Cull ultimate by Lucian, makes the Alistar survive, and they should probably back out. But yeah, going back on the pro play, so yeah, it's the disconnect of the pros that I don't know anymore. The casting I don't think is brilliant. And finally is when my job is League of Legends and I'm playing a lot of League of Legends in the day, a lot of the time I don't want more League of Legends later in the day. I don't want to be tuning in to even more League of Legends because that would just give me a headache, you know? So that is kind of the reasoning. Yasuo combos with the Gragas. They do get the kill. Yasuo going to continue for the Lucian. Echo should die. Just dies. Just gets the Talia kill as well. But Yasuo getting the nice kill on the Lucian, which is good. Seraphine, yep, that's not a lot of damage output. Obviously, it supports Seraphine this game. And they will go on the enemy bot lane. Probably won't get anything from this. Yasuo is now in trouble, but he should... If I was him, I would have gone all in on the Seraphine. I think he had an escape route that way. But Alistar's coming. He gets the knock-up. He's going to go for the Misfortune. He's got a wind wall up. We can't see it, but we can kind of know it's there. He dodges the Ornn ultimate. Oh, again, so clean! Timing it perfectly. Dodges the Ornn ultimate with also helping get a kill. Will also survive, and now going for the tier 2 tower. I can see why this guy is rank 1. But it's worth noting, this guy isn't a Yasuo one-trick or anything. So if you tuned into an actual like Yasuo one-trick in Diamond 1, they probably, I would imagine, like that's just incredibly clean. Look at that. Look at this Yasuo play. So it's actually getting a little bit cleaner as the game goes, but played a very basic lane phase. But I imagine you'd probably see like a Diamond 1 Master Yasuo one-trick mechanically maybe a little bit more like, Jesus Christ, like all the combos and flash whirlwinds and all that stuff. This guy isn't really doing it because you don't really need to do it. Seraphine gets caught. She ends up dead. But this is it. This is what I would define of this is how you play Yasuo. So what am I taking from this? Even though I'm not really going to play Yasuo AD carry, I'm going to play him mid lane. What I'm taking from this is like 100% confirming what I've already said. You know, I play Yasuo and my Yasuo usually goes quite well. And a lot of people say, oh, Huz, yours Yasuo even compared to normal Yasuo players is good. The reason why even me as like a kind of Yasuo player, I end up doing okay is because he's an insane scaling champion. But what usually happens is for some reason, Yasuo players risk the whole game in the first 10 minutes. You don't need to do that. And that's what this guy is showing. He had a terrible start to the game. They were patient. They waited for a gank, and then they turned it around. And people may say, oh, if they never got that gank, maybe it would have been different. Maybe, but he would have still probably played passive. He was not going to die. He's not going to risk it in the early game when he knows he's a Yasuo that scales. So that's kind of the point. If you are a Yasuo player, and sometimes you do struggle that you die a lot and end up being the cliche 0-10 Yasuo, play passive. Like, that's the point. You can still get occasional... Like, Yasuo is very good at getting farm for a melee champion because he's got pretty good defense. He has a shield passive. He has his wind wall, so you can block damage. So as a melee champion, you actually can get away with a pretty bad early game more than other champions. Play passive, scale a little bit, wait for that jungle gank. And that, by the way, goes for mid and AD carry. And this game has just been, so far, arguably one of the most perfect games that I could have showed you guys about Yasuo in the good sense of really bad early game, but then very basically clean playstyle. Nothing overcomplicated. We haven't seen incredible combos. We've seen very clean play. Like, the play that he did down here was amazing. It was fantastic. It was perfectly executed, but it was still relatively basic. So yeah, that's what I would say from this game you guys can take away. Item build, obviously, and runes and everything, we haven't covered that, but he's gone Conqueror, Triumph, Alacrity, Coup de Grace, with then Taste of Blood, Ravenous Hunter, and attack speed, attack damage, armor. Pretty standard build. Immortal Shield Bow as his mythic. Arguably, because Gale Force is a bit broken right now, you could go Gale Force, but Shield Bow is the item you should be building on Yasuo, and when Gale Force gets nerfed inevitably, it is the item, is a Yasuo item. So there's that. He then has Infinity Edge, which obviously gives him crit. Bloodthirster, even more crit, that then translates into more AD for the champion. Obviously got those tier 2 boots at the beginning of the game. And right now, you know, they've got pretty high confidence. They're outnumbered is Yasuo and Alistair, but they're like, feel free to engage on us. Yasuo has a 3-level advantage over Misfortune. So they're pretty confident that even if they got engaged on... Like, look at this. Yasuo is just straight up... Oh, he missed his Q, but he just straight up dove. Like, that's the point. He's getting hit by too many towers, arguably, and he will go down. A little bit of cockiness from the Yasuo there. You know, they are stomping the game in a Challenger game, so maybe you can understand the cockiness. And you have to remember, when you're in Challenger, a lot of these players, they know each other, right? They play with each other for years. They're all Challenger players. There's not many of them, so they all know each other. They're probably having a bit of a laugh. They'll probably be typing to each other potentially on in friends lists and stuff after the game. So that's sometimes what you also have to imagine is Challenger is fundamentally different to other ranks, because people do actually mess around quite a bit in Challenger because they're already there. They're at the highest rating there is. So that's sometimes why Challenger feels different or seems different than even like Diamond 1. Even though there's not a lot of Diamond 1 players, it is, you know, you don't play against the same people all the time even in Diamond 1, where Challenger, you do, because there's only 300 Challenger players. And obviously, yes, when you're Challenger, not everybody's going to be Challenger in the game. There'll be Grandmasters and maybe Masters in the game. But fundamentally, when you're a Challenger player, yeah, you're playing with the same people quite a lot. Anyway, he went back, by the way, got himself a Spirit Visage. So Echo is arguably the threat this game. The whole team is feeding, but the one champion, surprisingly, that is doing pretty well is an Echo. Because that champion, again, still is not balanced. But that's just the way that it is right now. Yasuo going to go for a flank. What can he do? Misses the Q, but going to go engaging in. He's going to do a bit of damage, gets the Lucian with the Aurelia. Alistair flashing in, doesn't get the knock-up. I think the enemy team flashed it. They do get the stun, but... Oh, he's going to make it... Oh, the lovely Talia bounce got the Ornn, and that looks like it's going to be the game. So there you go, everybody. That is a Challenger, currently rank 1 Yasuo. Really good to see. So the lesson being, if you're playing a scaling champion, it's okay to have a oof early game because you're a scaling champion. What I said about earlier, I've seen a Nasus one-trick rage quit basically at 5 minutes into the game when he died once or something. That's the wrong attitude to have when you're playing a scaling champion. If you was playing something like, I don't know, a Renekton or something, and you died twice in the first 5 minutes, yeah, you can be a bit like, oh god, I'm screwed. I can understand that a little bit more. But if you're playing a champion that scales with your ratios and all that stuff, be patient. It's okay. You don't have to take every fight in the early game. That's why so many Yasuos end up feeding, which they don't need to do. But that's going to be it. If you guys enjoyed, do throw a like on the video. Thanks again for all the support recently. It's been wonderful. But yeah, if you do want to help support what I do, throw a like on it, throw a comment, and I'll see you guys next time. And obviously, be a subscriber. That helps too. Ding the bell. Share with your friends the channel if you think it's worthy of sharing. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace.